Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to
I thought y'all knew.
I am your host, Tyrone Bridges. Let's get it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to welcome you. We want you to sit back and relax your mind while we express the way we feel this evening. We hope that our musical vibrations leave an everlasting experience with you. When you leave this evening, go out and spread the word.
Of my life. There it goes again.
It's good to be back. Thank you. Thank you so much. Everybody, please have a seat. Thank you. Well, to Secretary Burwell, to Francis Collins, Tony Fauci, your teams, to all of you, thanks so much for welcoming me here today. It is wonderful to be back to America's laboratory, even if I don't always understand what you're doing. Last year, I welcomed Francis and some of you to the White House to launch our BRAIN Initiative, to unlock the mysteries of the mind and pursue new cures for disease. And Francis promoted me at the time to Scientist-in-Chief, which made me very proud, although I sort of felt guilty that I hadn't studied more chemistry. But the work you do here is remarkable. And I just got a fascinating tour of your vaccine research center. I have to say I was very impressed with how you can clone a virus gene into a vaccine vector, then subject it to gel electrophoresis, and then pipette the samples into a 96-well microplate. Run it through the world's most advanced multi-parameter flow cytometer. I mean, it was impressive. I've been tinkering around the White House setting up a similar system. We use it for brewing beer. But it works well for your work also. Now, the last time I was here at NIH, early in my presidency, I came to announce a historic boost in funding for biomedical research. Because part of American leadership in the world, one of the things that has always marked us as exceptional, is our leadership in science and our leadership in research. And here at NIH, you have always been at the forefront of groundbreaking innovations. You've helped pioneer new treatments for everything from cancer to heart disease to HIV/AIDS. And as a consequence, you've helped not just Americans, but people around the world live longer, fuller lives. You've saved countless lives in every corner of the globe. And so to Francis and Tony and all your directors and staff and the researchers that you fund across the country and around the globe, you deserve great thanks for your leadership and your service and your patriotism and your life-saving work. And that brings me back to today. This past summer, as Ebola spread in West Africa, I told my team that fighting this disease had to be a national security priority, and a priority across agencies and across our government. I realize that here in the United States, some of the attention has shifted away recently. That's sort of how our attention spans work sometimes. Ebola is not leading the news right now. But I wanted to come here because every day we are focused on keeping the American people safe. Every day the NIH is at the forefront of this mission. NIH personnel have volunteered and deployed to West Africa. Some have served in medical labs testing for Ebola. Some of your clinicians, members of the U.S. Public Health Service, have deployed to care for healthcare workers who got infected in the line of duty. When Nina Pham, one of the two Dallas nurses who were infected, needed treatment, Tony and his team stepped up, and you were ready. You manned shifts around the clock, day and night. You remembered your training. You displayed great skill and professionalism. You reminded the world that it is possible to treat Ebola patients effectively and safely without endangering yourselves or others. And all that has made an enormous difference. Like a lot of Americans, I know you fell in love with Nina. She was so sweet and big smile, optimism, sense of service, and she reminded us of the incredible sacrifices that our tireless nurses make every day, and we can never thank them enough. And I know Tony thanks Nina for teaching him how to FaceTime. And after she was released, Ebola-free, I was proud to welcome Nina to the Oval Office and give her a big hug. And she's now back home in Texas, recovering, getting stronger. And we remember what she told the world when she was released. Throughout this ordeal, I've put my trust in God and my medical team. And we thank everyone on her team at the NIH Clinical Center who delivered such remarkable care to Tina. But the point is that the work that you have done has continued even if the cameras have gone elsewhere. And the urgency remains, because if we are going to actually solve this problem for ourselves, we have to solve it in West Africa as well. And one of the great virtues of what you've done here at NIH is reminded people that science matters.
Listen, y'all, I just got a call in. My name is Tyrone Bridges. I am the host of the podcast show I Thought You Knew. My cousin just told me he can't read the post, but I'm going to read it to you. This one here says, good morning, everyone. It says, please stay tuned for the show, for the start of the show. Grab your coffee, your tea, and water. Let's get it. The next one says, everyone listen very close. For those who just chimed in, everyone listen very close. I'm going to play 3 short videos with sound on. The first video is President Obama in 2014, December 2nd, 2014, warning us about this upcoming pandemic. The second video I'll be playing, Trump downplays the virus. The third video that I'll be playing, Trump versus Trump. The whole full videos are on our page, I Thought You Knew. Very, very interesting. You guys, Facebook might take this down, but I have a backup plan. You can catch me on live on my show, Spreaker.com. Look up Tyrone Bridges Podcast Show. Look for my logo. This logo. I'm also on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and more to come. I'm waiting for a confirmation on iHeartRadio. I'm a DJ, a community activist in Ypsi. And I want to bring this information to y'all. A lot of people are sleeping on this information. So please listen. This is President Obama, December 2nd, 2014, warning us about this pandemic. Listen.
And that science works. It's not always going to be immediate. Sometimes it's going to be iterative, and there are going to be some trials, and there are going to be some errors and false starts and blind alleys, but the basic concept of subjecting hypotheses to tests and seeing if they work and being able to document them and replicate them, the basic concept of science and making judgments on the basis of evidence, that's what's most needed during difficult, challenging moments like the ones that we had this summer and that we continue to have in West Africa. So last week, just in time for Thanksgiving, NIH and your partners gave us something new to be thankful for, and that was news of the first successful step, completion of the phase 1 clinical trials of a potential Ebola vaccine. And on my tour just now, Doctors Nancy Sullivan and Mario Rodera showed me how they and their teams did it. And I have to say, both Nancy and Mario were really good teachers and were very patient with my rudimentary questions. And the lasers were really cool. No potential Ebola vaccine has ever made it this far. So this is exciting news. But it's also a reminder of the importance of government-funded research and our need to keep investing in basic research.
Thank you, Pop. Listen, y'all.
Because Nancy, as she was talking about the steps that had been taken, showed me, this is the kind of mementos scientists keep, I guess, is there was like some numbers on a little chart from back in 1999, in which she had first done some experiments, some trials on the Ebola virus. So this is the product not just of last year's work, it's the product of over a decade of inquiry.
For those who are just chiming in, this is former President Barack Obama speaking in December 2nd, 2014 about what is to come. Y'all just chiming in. Y'all better let people know this information is out there. Y'all need to listen very close because I got 2 more videos that y'all definitely need to hear. I'm not going to speak. I'm going to let the men speak for themselves. Once again, this is President Obama warning us in 2014, December 2nd, 2014.
And work. And at the time when Nancy was explaining when she first had some breakthroughs in understanding the Ebola virus, nobody really gave a hoot. Until you do. And that's part of how science works. You make investments and you pursue knowledge for knowledge's sake, in part because it turns out that knowledge may turn out useful later. And you don't always know when. Now, last week's news is still just a first step. There are no guarantees. But Dr. Cliff Lane, who is here, is working with Liberian officials to begin large-scale tests in that country. And other potential Ebola vaccines are also in the works. I know that here at NIH, you're also working on potential treatments for Ebola. And as you move ahead on all these fronts, I want you to know you have your president's full support and the administration's full support. You are a vital part of our fight against Ebola across our government. Today, we released an update on our efforts here in the United States and abroad. And it shows that because we've stepped up our efforts in recent months, we're more prepared when it comes to protecting Americans here at home. We're screening and monitoring arrivals from the affected countries. We've equipped more hospitals with new protective gear and protocols. We've conducted outreach and training of hundreds of thousands of healthcare workers.
For those who are tuning in, I got to remind y'all what we're listening to. We're listening to the warning from President Barack Obama, December 2nd, 2014, about what was to come. The current president will come up next. It will just be short clips. The second clip that I'm going to be playing after this one is the current president's downplaying the virus. The last video, audio clip that I'll be playing is Trump versus Trump. Now, y'all really need to listen to that. I know y'all hate hearing the voice sometimes during this time, but y'all really need to pay attention. This is, once again, I'm going to finish playing the rest of this video. It's like 11 minutes. Listen, you don't have to watch me. I don't care if you watch me. But this is former President Barack Obama warning us about the pandemic to come. December 2nd, 2014. Listen.
A few months ago, only 13 states could test for Ebola. Today, 36 states can. Previously, there were only 3 facilities in the country deemed capable of treating an Ebola patient, including NIH. Today, we're announcing that we now have 35 treatment centers designated to care for a patient with Ebola. So this is important progress, and we're going to just keep on at it. And throughout, we are going to be guided by the science, not by speculation, not by fear, not by rumor, not by panic.
This is our president speaking.
By science.
Former president speaking. Listen.
Now, part of what the science and epidemiology and experience has taught us, and I've said this all along, is the best way to fight this disease, to protect Americans, is to stop it at its source. And that's why the United States continues to lead the global response in West Africa. Some 3,000 of our service members and civilians are now on the ground, manning that air bridge, moving in supplies, building treatment units. I called some of our troops in West Africa on Thanksgiving to express gratitude, and they were inspiring, the can-do spirit that they displayed. The new medical unit we built in Liberia to treat health workers opened last month and has begun discharging patients Ebola-free. We've ramped up the capacity to train hundreds of new health workers per week. We've helped improve burial practices across Liberia, and as a consequence, we've seen some encouraging news. A decline in infection rates in Liberia. And meanwhile, over the last few months, the United States has helped rally the international community. We've mobilized more than $2 billion in commitments to this fight, because this has to truly be a global effort. But that money would not be there had it not been for U.S. leadership. So our strategy is beginning to show results. We're seeing some progress, but the fight is not even close to being over. As long as this disease continues to rage in West Africa, we could continue to see isolated cases here in America. In West Africa, this remains the worst Ebola epidemic in history by a long shot. And although we've made some progress in Liberia, we've still got work to do. We are seeing that we still have a lot of work in Guinea, and it's actually been getting worse in Sierra Leone, despite some good efforts from our British partners.
Can't hide the fact.
And this can still spread to other countries, as we've seen in Mali. Every hot spot is an ember that, if not contained, can become a new fire. So we cannot let down our guard even for a minute. And we can't just fight this epidemic, we have to extinguish it. Now, much of the progress we've made, and the progress we still need to make, depends on funding. This is an expensive enterprise.
Y'all better listen.
And that money's running out. We cannot beat Ebola without more funding. If we want other countries to keep stepping up, we will have to continue to lead the way. And that's why I'm calling on Congress to approve our emergency funding request to fight this disease before they leave for the holidays. It's a good Christmas present to the American people and to the world.
What y'all listening to, if y'all just chiming in, former President Barack Obama, December 2nd, 2014, warning us about what is to come here in 2020.
The funding we're asking for is needed to keep strengthening our capacity here at home so we can respond to any future Ebola cases. The funding allows us to keep making progress in West Africa. Remember, we have to extinguish this disease. This is not something that we can just manage with a few cases here and there. We've got to stamp it out. The funding is needed to speed up testing and approval of any promising Ebola vaccines and treatments, including those here at the NIH. It's needed to help us partner with other countries to prevent and deal with future outbreaks and threats before they become epidemics. This is something I want to just focus on for a second. Tony and I were fondly reminiscing about SARS and H1N1.
That's Tony Fauci now, the current Tony Fauci. Listen.
That's what these guys do for fun. And we were lucky with H1N1 that it did not prove to be more deadly. We can't say we're lucky with Ebola because obviously it's having a devastating effect in West Africa, but it is not airborne in its transmission. There may and likely will come a time in which we have both an airborne disease that is deadly. And in order for us to deal with that effectively, we have to put in place an infrastructure, not just here at home, but globally, that allows us to see it quickly, isolate it quickly, respond to it quickly. And it also requires us to continue the same path of basic research that is being done here at the NIH, that Nancy is a great example of, so that if and when a new strain of flu, like the Spanish flu, crops up 5 years from now or a decade from now, we've made the investment.
5 years. Listen, this is President Barack Obama, December 2nd, 2014, letting us know what's to come. He said in 5 years, listen. It's in his own words.
And we're further along to be able to catch it. It is a smart investment for us to make. It's not just insurance. It is knowing that down the road we're going to continue to have problems like this, particularly in a globalized world, where you move from one side of the world to the other in a day. So this is important now, but it's also important for our future and our children's future and our grandchildren's future. In the last few elections, the American people have sent Washington a pretty clear message. Find areas where you agree. Don't let the areas where you disagree shut things down. Work together and get the job done. I cannot think of a better example of an area where we should all agree than passing this emergency funding to fight Ebola and to set up some of the public health infrastructure that we need to deal with potential outbreaks in the future.
Now listen, I have to stop the video because new people is chiming in. I have to remind you who you're listening to. This is former President Barack Obama speaking in 2014, December 2nd, 2014, warning us about what is to come. Listen good, y'all. And then I'm going to play the next video.
How do you argue with that? That is not a partisan issue. That is a basic common sense issue that all Americans can agree on. Now, I have to say I've been very encouraged so far by the bipartisan support in our various visits with members of Congress. For the most part, people have recognized this is not a Democratic issue or a Republican issue. It's about the safety and security of the American people. So let's get it done. This can't get caught up in normal politics. We need to protect the American people, and we need to show the world how America leads. I have to tell you, I traveled to Asia. We had the G20 summit. If America had not led, if I had not been able to go to CDC, make a major announcement about the commitments we were going to make, be able to go to the United Nations, and basically call on other countries to step up and know that we were following through with our own commitments. Had we not done that, the world would not have responded in the same way. American leadership matters every time. We set the tone and we set the agenda. Now, in closing, I want to leave with a story that speaks to what we have to do. Nancy Wright-Bowl is from Charlotte, North Carolina. She's a mom, grandma, wife, also a Christian missionary. Along with her husband, she went to Liberia. She was doing God's work, caring for Ebola patients. It's hard to imagine a greater expression of the Christian ethic. And she was then infected herself. So she was brought back to Emory in Atlanta. She received excellent care. Nancy was released in August. She is Ebola-free. She continues to recover. And she said this about how people treat her even today. You have some people that just totally wrap their arms around you and shake your hand. And then you have other people that stand 10 feet away. Some people wrap their arms around you, some people stand 10 feet away. This disease is not just a test of our health systems, it is a test of our character as a nation. It asks us who we are as Americans. When we see a problem in the world, like thousands of people dying from a disease that we know how to fight, do we stand 10 feet away or 10,000 miles away? Or do we lead and deploy and go to help? And I know what kind of character I want to see in America. And I know the kind of character that's displayed by people here at NIH and some of your colleagues that are deployed right now in Liberia. That's who we are. We don't give in to fears. We are guided by our hopes, and we are guided by our reason, and we are guided by our faith, and we're guided by our confidence that we can ease suffering and make a difference. And we imagine new treatments and cures, and we discover, and we invent, and we innovate, and we test, and we unlock new possibilities. And when we save a life and we help a person heal, we go up to them and we open our arms, and we wrap our arms around them with understanding and love and compassion and reason. That's what you do here at NIH. That's what we do as Americans. That's who we are. That's who we'll always be. Thank you very much. God bless.
Now, I just wanted to let that sink in for a quick second. For those who are chiming in or listening in a little late, that was our former president, Barack Obama, warning us about what was to come. December 2nd, 2014. Now I'm going to go to the dark side. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you say. Listen to the current president in 2020 speaks about this pandemic. This is when he first spoke about it. Bear with me and listen. If you care about your own life everybody's life around you. Listen.
Thank you very much. I would like to begin by announcing some important developments in our war against the Chinese virus.
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus? There are reports of dozens of incidents of bias against Chinese Americans in this country. Your own aide, Secretary Azar, says he does not use this term. He says ethnicity does not cause the virus. Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China. That's why. It comes from China. I want to be accurate.
About Chinese
Yeah, please,
in
John.
this country?
Please.
The aides behind you. Are you comfortable with
great.
this term?
I have great love for all of the people from our country. But as you know, China tried to say at one point, maybe they stopped now, that it was caused by American soldiers. That can't happen. It's not going to happen. Not as long as I'm president. It comes from China. John, please.
You've been very clear about who you think is to blame or where the origin to blame for this virus is.
Not think. No. I don't think. I know where it came from. I don't know if you'd say China's to blame. Certainly we didn't get an early run on it. It would have been helpful if we knew about it earlier. But it comes from China. And it's not a question about that. Nobody's questioning that.
Senator Cotton is saying that they should be punished, in so many words, for inflicting this on the American people. Do you feel that way about it?
Well, I have a lot of respect for Tom Cotton, and I know exactly what he's been saying. And there are those people that say that. So we'll see what happens. Thank you. You have to do things. You have to close parts of an economy that 6 weeks ago were the best they've ever been. We had the best economy we've ever had.
There are at least one White House official who used the term Kung flu, referring to the fact that this virus started in China. Is that acceptable? Is it wrong? Are you worried that having this virus be talked about as a Chinese virus, that might
I wonder who said that. You know who said that?
I'm not sure the person's name, but would you condemn the fact
say
that
the term again?
A person at the White House used the term Kung flu. My question is, do you think that that's wrong, Kung flu? And do you think using the term Chinese virus, that puts Asian Americans at risk, that people might target them?
No, not at all. I think they probably would agree with it 100%. It comes from China. There's nothing not to agree. Okay, how about the last question?
All right, that was the ending of the 2 minute and 44 second. I don't know, y'all. Y'all heard it yourself. I'm not gonna make no comments. I don't care what nobody else think. I want y'all to hear the man in his own voice. I want y'all to hear it. I know y'all don't want to hear it right now, but somebody got to hear the truth. I've been fine. I've been looking at all of the press conferences and the comedy shows that they've been having about this. And this reminds me of us being led to the slaughter. If we were already being warned by the former president, this individual's hatred was so bad, he had to demolish everything that the former president Barack Obama put in place to save us. So the former president, I just got through playing the audio clip, and everything is on our page. I thought you knew. The videos, they're on YouTube. Go look it up. President Obama was warning us about this. Now, this president is downplaying it like it's nothing. Now, the last video, y'all, I'm sharing this information with y'all because I really need y'all to listen. For those who are alive, conscious, and focused and trying to make sense of this mess. I don't know everything. That's why I let the man speak for itself. The last video is called Trump versus Trump. It's on YouTube. And it sums up everything about this current leader in the White House. Sums it up. Listen to his words, downplaying this pandemic all the way up until now. Listen, I know you don't want to hear it, but I have to play the truth. Listen.
We're prepared and we're doing a great job with it, and it will go away. Just stay calm. It will go away. I want every American to be prepared for the hard days that lie ahead. We're going to go through a very tough 2 weeks. Because of all we've done, the risk to the American people remains very low. It's absolutely critical for the American people to follow the guidelines for the next 30 days. It's a matter of life and death, frankly. It's a matter of life and death.
With the flu, on average, we lose from 26,000 to 78,000 people a year, even more than that in some cases, some years. We haven't lost anybody yet.
If we could hold that down, as we're saying, to 100,000, it's a horrible number. Maybe even less, but to 100,000. So we have between 100 and 200,000. We all together have done a very good job. But
the Democrat policy of open borders is a direct threat to the health and well-being of all Americans. Now, you see it with the coronavirus. You see it. You see it with the coronavirus.
we must put politics aside, stop the partisanship, and unify together as one nation and one family. Now, the virus that we're talking about having to do, a lot of people think that goes away in April with the heat, but they think August, could be July, could be longer than that.
We're considering a national emergency declaration that would allow states and local governments to cap FEMA.
I don't think you'll need that because I really think we're in extremely good shape. Today I am officially declaring a national emergency. Two very big words. When you have 15 people, and the 15 within a couple of days is going to be down to close to zero, that's a pretty good job we've done. I've been watching them bring in trailer trucks, freezer trucks. They're freezer trucks because they can't handle the bodies. There's so many of them. We have done an incredible job. We're going to continue. It's going to disappear. One day it's like a miracle. It will disappear. People were saying, well, let's just write it out. This is not to be written out because then you would have been looking at potentially 2.2 million people or more. 2.2 million people in a relatively short period of time.
The CDC said yesterday that they believe it's inevitable that the virus will spread in the United States, and it's not a question of if, but when. Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, I don't think it's inevitable. It probably will. It possibly will. The modeling estimates that the peak in death rate is likely to hit in 2 weeks. So, I'll say it again. The peak, the highest point of death rates, remember this, is likely to hit in 2 weeks. We'll have tremendous rallies, and we're doing very well, and we've done a fantastic job with respect to that subject on the virus. We have a big one in Tampa, all sold out. We have over 100,000 requests for tickets, but I think we'll probably not do it because people would say it's better to not do. Spoke to the White House doctor, terrific guy, talented guy. He said he sees no reason to do it. There's no symptoms, no anything. I also took the test last night, and I decided I should, based on the press conference yesterday. People were asking, did I take the test? But anybody that needs a test can have a test. They're all set. So if your doctor doesn't think you need it, don't get the test. Don't get the test. I think that's very important. Not everybody should run out and get the test.
Dr. Fauci said earlier this week that the lag in testing was, in fact, a failing. Do you take responsibility for that? And when can you guarantee that every single American who needs a test will be able to have a test? What's the date of that?
Yeah, no, I don't take responsibility at all. We have now tested with the best test far more than anybody else. When I say anybody else, I'm talking about other countries. No country is even close.
Late last night, I had a very good talk with President Xi, and we talked mostly about the coronavirus. They're working really hard, and I think they're doing a very professional job.
But I'm a little upset with China, I'll be honest with you, because as much as I like President Xi and as much as I respect the country, and they should have told us about this. UK basically has been, it's got the border, it's got very strong borders. And they're doing a very good job. They don't have very much infection at this point, and hopefully they'll keep it that way. All of a sudden, they went hard the other way because they started seeing things that weren't good. So they were, they put themselves in a little bit of a problem. Now, Boris tested positive, and I hope he's going to be fine. A lot of people are staying here, and they're going to be doing their business here. They're going to be traveling here.
and they'll be going to resorts here. Avoid gathering in groups of more than 10 people. Avoid discretionary travel. And avoid eating and drinking at bars, restaurants, and public food courts. And 61% of the voters approve of Trump's handling of the coronavirus. Number one on Facebook. Did you know I was number one on Facebook? And I just found out I'm number one on Facebook. I thought that was very nice. And this is their new hoax. But, you know, we did something that's been pretty amazing. We're 15 people in this massive country. And because of the fact that we went early, we could have had a lot more than that. I want to remind everyone here in our nation's capital, especially in Congress, that this is not the time for politics, endless partisan investigations. Here we go again. We have a situation with the virus. We've done a great job. The press won't give us credit for it. I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say. Go ahead. I think it's a very nasty question, and I think it's a very bad signal that you're putting out to the American people.
What do you say to Americans who are upset with you over the way you downplayed this crisis over the last couple of months? We have it very much under control in this country. The coronavirus is very much under control in the USA. It's going to disappear. It's like a miracle. It will disappear. March 4th, we have a very small number of people in this country infected. March 10th, we're prepared. We're doing a great job with it. It will go away. Just stay calm. It will go away. What do you say to Americans who believe that you got this wrong?
And I do want them to stay calm. And I do want them to stay calm. And we are doing a great job. If you look at those individual statements, they're all true. Stay calm. It will go away. You know it is going away. And it will go away. And we're going to have a great victory. And it's people like you and CNN that say things like that, it's why people just don't want to listen to CNN anymore. You could ask a normal question. The statements I made are, I want to keep the country calm. I don't want panic in the country. I could cause panic much better than even you. I would make you look like a minor league player. But you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to have our country be calm and strong and fight and win. And it will go away. And it is incredible, the job that all of these people are doing, putting them all together, the job that they're doing. I am very proud of the job they're doing, that Mike Pence is doing, that the task force has done, that Honeywell and Procter & Gamble and Mike and all of these people have done. I'm very proud. It's almost a miracle, and it is, the way it's all come together. And instead of asking a nasty, snarky question like that, you should ask a real question. And other than that, I'm going to go to somebody else. Please, go ahead, please.
Great segment, y'all. Ask a real question. Who in the hell is in charge of our country? I don't care what nobody say after hearing all that. Obviously, it seems like this man is intentionally leaving our country hanging. Just listen to those sound bites over and over again, starting with the very first one, former President Barack Obama. Well, he's my president still. Barack Obama warned us December 2nd, 2014. And this current president, this current occupant in the White House, destroyed the task force that was placed in place by President Barack Obama, getting us prepared for something like this. And I'm listening to this individual in the circus that's on TV with all this misinformation and disinformation. Y'all think about that. I had to put that out there this morning. Ain't no time in games for no videos, no fun videos. I'll make a mix later. I know Facebook don't like people putting conscious stuff on Facebook, so they'll get this video down. But you can catch me on my show, Spreaker.com, SPREAKER.com. Look up Tyrone Bridges Podcast Show. I just wanted y'all to listen to the former President Barack Obama December 2nd, 2014. And then the second video clipping that I played was the current occupant in the White House downplaying the current virus. And then the third video was Trump versus Trump. For those who out there talking about Democrats and Republicans, independents and this, that, and the other, it ain't about that. When you got hospitals having bodies laying in the hallways, we are supposed to be the leader of the world. But look at our leadership. If you voted for President Trump, you need to take a damn bow. You need to take a good bow and thank him for the shit he put us in. Excuse my language. If you got tender ears, click it off. Bottom line, he knew about what was going on years in advance. Intentionally destroyed the task force because he didn't like this president. You know he don't like it. You know he don't like him at all. That's why he can't keep his name out of his mouth. Minorities are under attack with this virus. We dying left and right. So all you President Trump voters, y'all need to take a bow because God ain't done with y'all. God has never been done with this president. But this president is not a real leader. He is not a real leader. So once again, this is facts. Y'all can hate me all you want. I don't give a damn. Listen to the words of our former president, Barack Obama. December 2nd, 2014, warning us. And then listen to the 2 video clips of our current occupant in the White House. This is Tyrone Bridges on the podcast show I Thought You Knew, because I thought y'all all knew. Stop sleeping, y'all. Stop sleeping. Listen. Open your eyes and learn as to what's going on. No more conspiracy theories. Listen to the man talk in his own words. Listen to the hatred that he spew out of his mouth when people are dying. We need a leader to lead the United States and to put them back in leadership role in the world. This stuff we got here right now leading, y'all know, y'all won't say it, some straight up bullshit. Our governor, I stand with that lady from Michigan. That's my type of chick. Michigan should rise up and whoop Donald Trump's ass at the polls. We need to shut him down, push him out the White House, and be a leader of the nation once again. We have to put in a president that's going to stand up for the people, by the people, and not for his own pockets. Y'all don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. I ain't. This man in office was a guaranteed death sentence for a lot of Americans. I'm signing off because the more I speak about him, the more I get sick to my stomach, and it ain't the coronavirus. Thank y'all. Share this video, listen to it, and be conscious. Set yourself up to get ready to vote by mail because that's what's going to happen. We need to stop this buffoonery in the White House. You could probably put a chimpanzee or a dog in there to do better than what we got right now because we are being fed bullshit. I'm out. Take this facts, do what you want to. Look into it, listen to the videos, play the videos, share it, because this man is straight up trying to kill us all. And we already knew it. How about you?